well as delay, and we move on to Fr0zen versus Empanizado. The priests have been banned, but we still have mages on both sides, warriors on both sides, and this time it's Demon Hunter and Druid difference. The warriors do look slightly different, though, because Empanizado is playing kind of that mid-range / control warrior style versus the bomb package in Fr0zen's deck list. Mages look pretty similar, and then the Demon Hunter and the Druid. So pretty interesting stuff going into this series here of whether or not Empanizado has the ability to overwhelm or control Fr0zen's lineup. It's pretty interesting. Oh my god, you did it! Empanizado is playing video game warrior.
Proof that I changed it yesterday when I said I did.
Oh my gosh.
This is video game warrior from Empanizado.
What?
If you didn't tune in yesterday, Dan and I didn't really know what to call it. We didn't think calling it Control Warrior did it justice. So we settled on Video Game Warrior, and that's what's become of it. Runs Bloodsworn Mercenaries, but no killing combo with Cork Elite. Instead, it runs like Kargat Blade Fist, Rattle Gore, Blood Boil Brutes. It's basically like the old Risky Skipper package, but with like no bombs, no combo damage, just straight up control tools and big old minions. It also runs a Cobalt Stick Finger, which could make it, that could be the X factor against the Bomb Warrior that Fr0zen has. We're going to call a mirror matchup later, but I feel like the deck is maybe a little bit untested. We'll see. I don't know. I have no idea how to evaluate this deck. It's a very difficult deck to play on ladder because it seems like it's a tournament deck that's targeted at certain things. So we just have to kind of watch Empanizado play it and then draw our conclusion from how well it performs. That's about it.
All right, sounds good. I love that they call it Video Game Warrior. If you don't understand it, it's basically TJ and I evolving meta humor where we're saying we're not sure what to call this deck. We say it just kind of plays a bunch of cards. And then we said, I remember people are calling decks minion class, like minion priest or whatever. I'm like, that feels such a weird thing to call something when it's like so many cards in the deck are minions, right? Like, is every deck a minion? Or is it minion mage? Minion druid? And then it eventually evolved beyond that. Where it's like, what if we just start calling things by just generic stuff? And then we eventually landed on Video Game Warrior, which apparently is just an awesome name. I love that. I love that a lot. So here we go. Game number 1 is ready. Some pretty aggressive mulligans, as Empanizado was clearly not happy with his opening hand. Over on Fr0zen side, kind of similar, right? He ended up mulliganing most of his cards and then just picking up a Astromancer Solarian. I think in this matchup in particular, like, Empanizado just wants to remove everything, if possible, and then stick some minion on the board. The problem is if Fr0zen, if he's able to pick up a Devolving Missiles or Polymorph, it really shuts down Rattlegore, and I feel like there's a lack of a late game for this warrior deck from Empanizado's side.
Yeah.
Because
that's true.
In the past, Control Warrior used to rely upon like a Gromish Hellscream, like some kind of charge damage to indicate that they're trying to push for the win. Or if you were a Control Warrior, you would go so far on the defensive side that you would have like anti-fatigue measures, like playing like Archivist Feliciano. This has neither, and instead it plays like some mid-range threats with some weapon removal tech like Cobalt Sticky Finger.
Yeah, I mean, it's not trying to win, it's just trying to not lose long enough for the opponent to die itself. AKA fatigue. There are ways that you can pressure, but you're right, it doesn't have a late game. It's got some Blood Boil Brutes that might stick onto the board. It's got a Rattlegore that you can copy with Bloodsworn Mercenary, but those things are guaranteed, and it's not part of the, while it could be part of the win condition, it's not like what the deck's trying to do. It's just trying to kill everything. But Fr0zen in this early game, as the Tempo Mage, going to keep trying to pressure here. Trying to amass some resources. This is a good amount of pressure, good amount of damage, and Empanizado, well, he does have Brawl. His removal outside of that is quite limited. It looks like it's just going to be an evil Quartermaster here. And keep accepting some of this damage that this board from Fr0zen is going to deal. Font of Power was also the choice, which I like because it, this game is most likely going to go late. Fr0zen, the Tempo Mage deck is not really known for just running people over quickly. It's not an aggressive deck. It is a tempo deck though. So what you can do is use your early game minions for tempo and then Font of Power to try and find some heavy late game stuff. But here, just the Firebrand or
yeah, I think that the Mage deck, if it really wants to go the distance against its Warrior, it can totally play for the fatigue late game.
Yeah,
maybe not fatigue, but more the exhaustion. We actually debated this a little bit yesterday as Empanizado finds a handful of okay rush minions right now. Looks like Fish Flyer might be the best. The reason why I feel like a little bit confused about Empanizado's deck choice is because if you want to play a controlling style, then why are we playing things like, the Blood Boil Brute Risky Skipper package? It's not like that's more of a tempo swing type of deck. But he's not playing like the finisher with the combo with Kor'kron Elite and the Bloodsword Mercenary, despite having Bloodsword Mercenary in the deck. So that's why I was kind of saying that it feels like it's like a jack of all trades, but really not a master of anything. And so as a result, if you are a mage deck and your primary game plan doesn't work, which is, build your advantage, get mana giants down, Conjurer's Calling, you could totally also just rack up cards like Evocation and Power of Creation and Puzzle Box and just win through just sheer value that Empanizado can't answer because he only has a limited amount of stuff that he can do.
Ugh. 2 Spellbenders. I mean, there's the answer to the Shield Slams. But that's it. There isn't any other targeted removal. You should basically, I said it in one of the previous games. Effectively, the only card that, outside of something that's generated from Ethereal Lackey from one of the Evil Quartermasters, or from the Evil Quartermaster, it's just these Spellbenders are there to answer the Shield Slams. Now, one added bonus effect that it could have is because Empanizado doesn't really have anything that's fantastic to check this Spellbender with, it opens up opportunities for Fr0zen to get more Font of Powers and start picking up Cloud Princes, Dan, and utilize the almost guaranteed secret at any part of the game to deal lots of damage with Cloud Prince. And then maybe even Potion of Illusion, and then keep copying the Cloud Prince.
I mean, that... I don't know if Cloud Prince is it. I know you're kind of memeing here, but there's definitely a lot of powerful things that Fr0zen can pick up, including just Archmage and Knights to burn it out. This is also not really the variant of Warrior that gains a ton of armor. It gains bursts of armor, but it's not consistent at its output in doing so. Yeah. Karga's Blade Fist, for example, with Bloodsword Mercenary, that's a way you can do it, whether it's Karga's Prime or just the Blade Fist itself. You can just see that, right now, Fr0zen's just chipping away at Empanizado's Warrior life, just slowly but surely. Yeah. Empanizado's, taking a long time to think about, how he wants to set things up. And then when he plays a minion, Fr0zen just trades and pokes.
Yep.
And it's
got him down to 20. And repeat. And it's not like he's not developing a game plan. He's got him to 20 with things that also generate other things. Astromancer Solarian, it's putting Solarian Primes in the deck. Wand Thief got him a spell. Cloud Spellwing's got an Arcane Missile chucked in there. Wandmaker also generated a spell. So yeah, you're right. It's kind of just I'm just chipping away ever so slowly.
That's right.
And Empanizado doesn't want to brawl any of this. It's all just small stuff. It's nonsense.
It's just a bunch of 1-1s and 2-2s. That's not what you want to brawl. Empanizado came here to play video games.
He didn't come here to brawl away 1-1s and 2-2s.
Yeah.
Seems like a pretty decent mana cycle in turn.
Jeez. I mean, Fr0zen is also generating resources with his mana cyclone.
Ooh.
Finds an evocation. I mean, that's...
And primordial studies. That's sick.
Yeah.
I could get another Astromancer.
Time runs out on me.
Yeah, or just high value cards like Malagos that you can play.
Steward of Scrolls, even. More spells.
Steward of Scrolls. So I played a lot of Empanizado Warrior over the past couple of days. And my experience against Mage was actually very similar to this. Almost like very similar panouts where I'm like, okay, like I'm doing a good job like staying ahead on the board. Ooh, this Witchy Lackey's nice. I just felt like I was slowly losing ground the entire time. My win rate with Mage was 1 in 5. I lost 4 games and I won 1 of them. And the one game that I won was because the Mage all-in'd and then I like brawled or like removed stuff. And I think it was because they weren't really sure what I was playing. So they weren't really able to account for that range. But like the mages that were like, okay, I'm just gonna like play like 1 giant, and it's like, and then I spend like a shield slam. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play power creation that I randomly generated. I'm like, well, I have to like Bladestorm that. Like, okay, then I like play like Chinvala and stuff, and then I have to brawl that, and then I'm out of removal, and then they stick minions and I die. The slow extension is what really feels like the poison to this deck. And the random generation just is like way outmatching the resource battle. It feels like Mage plays with 60 cards and you play with 30.
Yeah.
And
I mean, which
some
is
of those cards
oftentimes
too
the case, right? Like it's
right.
They are essentially playing with 60 cards. Oh, wait! Sticky finger value.
Oh my god! Cobalt Sticky Finger. Empanizado is a genius. Yeah, I mean, so
Oh, Bladestorm swing sticky finger.
yeah.
Oh.
He can also use Shield Slam if he doesn't want to give up 6 life, but I mean,
He's Spellbender. There's a lot of secrets that he has not tested for yet, though. So
right, that's true.
all right, so now no counter spell.
Oh, but if he Shield Slam, that ruins Bladestorm, TJ. Because the Spellbender still a minion that's out there, so Empanizado, if he wants to Bladestorm first,
so many choices.
so he can guarantee that kill. Cobalt Sticky Finger. I can't believe it. He's got his win condition. He's got 15 damage.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wow, brain freeze. I guess if he has a brain freeze, doesn't he need a second one? Puzzle box.
Puzzle box. There it is. That's the one. Yep.
That's the juice. And Fr0zen finds the counter. Ashbringer has to wait. And it's like, this is a situation where Empanizado's like, I definitely don't want to brawl this. And he probably won't because he still has Shield Slam, but there's a Spellbender. And he's at 10 staring at 5. This is so annoying. Target's Prime comes in the hand though, which allows him to get 10 armor.
Yeah, and there's no answer to it from Fr0zen's hand. Direct answer. I mean, there's a lot of indirect answers. If he copies this, he's just got a puzzle box. Up, and his hero can attack.
Puzzle box is actually fairly consistent at what it does. Oh, shovels his hand.
Okay, well, glide.
Pyro!
Oh!
To the face!
Lava burst.
Lava burst. So much damage being dealt. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh. He's making his opponent's Kargash stronger. The Grand Slam!
The Grand Slam!
Oh.
He's just 1 damage off lethal! Or 2 damage off! What?
I don't really know what Empanizado can do from here. Certainly after a puzzle box that destroyed everything and dealt more than half of Empanizado's life. Hard to believe that he actually gained 10 armor last turn.
That's a scoop for me, Dan.
Yeah, this looks pretty bad for an Empanizado. I kind of stand by what I said. I don't really feel like the Bloodsworn Mercenaries are enough to really pull Empanizado out of a lot of sticky situations, which is partially why I wasn't really understanding how to capitalize on this card combo, and I was kind of hoping Empanizado could show me.
Yeah.
And I feel like he just kind of got maged. And sometimes that's what happens, right? Like, sometimes mage gets you.
I gotta move.
I don't see a good play here. You can test for Ice Barrier, but doesn't really matter. It is Spellbender. And I think he has to equip Ankar here because he's going to need Risky Skipper next turn to be able to go Risky Skipper, Armor Smith, plus Bloodsworn. Just go for that big burst, but, I mean, that's just enough damage.
Yep. And he's got the burst through the Frostbolts. And he's also got the Arcane Missiles off the Violet Spellwing. That's going to be game 1. Over to Fr0zen. And Fr0zen's first broadcasted game in this the round robin stage. We did see him in the Swiss tournaments make a deep run. But he's going to start off his Division B campaign with another win. As Fr0zen last season also was kind of in danger of that, right? He was in Division B, and we were kind of worried. We're like, wow, like Division B has so many killers. It has like Soleil and Muzzy and Fr0zen and some of the like really consistent players. But good job to Fr0zen gain that first win. Yep. And that leads us to our next intermission, TJ. We're going to take a few minutes and get set here. And when we come back, we're going to have game number 2 between Fr0zen and Empanizado.
Hearthstone Grandmasters is brought to you by T-Mobile. Switch today and rank up to America's largest 5G network. T-Mobile.
Welcome to an exclusive interview with former world champion of Hearthstone, James Firebat Kostasich. Hi, James.
Hi, happy to be here for the interview.
Hi. Welcome to the
Thank you.
So how do you deal with your old age?
Yeah, for esports, I guess I'm getting kind of up there at this point, but I don't travel as much as some of the young guys. I try and stay home and stream more and focus on growth there.
I have trouble accepting my own mortality. Ever think about having pups?
Pups? Like dogs?
Pups.
Yeah, I had a dog before. It's hard with esports and the traveling. I'm kind of more on the cats for now rather than dogs, but I do love pets.
Where did you move this winter?
I just stayed in Michigan.
You didn't move?
No.
Well, how do you deal with the colder months?
Yeah, it kind of sucks. You go inside, turn the heat on, right? But you know, snow is always a bummer. It actually wasn't too bad this year. There wasn't too much shoveling you had to do.
Well, this winter I didn't really feel like moving, so I slept for like 3 months.
That sounds nice.
we're here in Texas. Did you fly to Texas?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I'm only in Detroit, so it's only like a 2.5-hour flight. It was pretty good.
I can only fly at night because it seems like there's a better selection of food.
Yeah, I don't think there was food on my flight.
You want some fruit? Okay, this fruit went bad, by the way.
Magic school of your legacy of glory shines. May they stand forevermore. Take your place where magic bends to your will, but you'll have to study hard. So many clubs and colds. Excuse me, I misspoke. Take your pick out in the yard. Test your brains or blow their spells for a fall double major honor roll. Just be sure to stay upstairs in the hall. Those troubles on to steal your soul.
They're kidding, of course.
Dear Magic School, we vow to stay right and true. Us always, we love you. Hey, hey, USA!
Welcome back, everyone, to Hearthstone Grandmasters. Fr0zen versus Empanizado. Game number 2 is about to begin, as we do have the mage from Fr0zen that got the check mark. We're playing Best 5 Conquest. If you were tuning in for the previous weeks, you may have seen Specialist and Last Hero Standing. But now that the mage is done, we just have the Warrior and Druid remaining. Now, I do think Warrior is a deck, or a class rather, that Empanizado was potentially targeting with his own Warrior. It's just that if he doesn't beat that Warrior, then I am truly stumped as to what other class besides Zoo Warlock that this deck can beat, because it would very largely reflect my win rate. I told you I played a lot of games with this deck. I also lost a ton of games. I had a 75% losing record with his deck on ladder, TJ. And so I was just kind of confused. I think I really put my blame on myself. I'm like, am I just misplaying this deck a lot? Do I just not understand matchups? And so I'm curious. And yesterday, even though Empanizado got the win, it didn't really seem like a very convincing victory. So, I am curious to see how he approaches these last two matches and if his warrior can get through. Because I'm still going to point to that as the Achilles heel. And I am so ready to eat my words because I really want different kinds of deck archetypes to be viable for each class. Yeah. We're going to put a pin on that for now. That looks like Empanizado's turning to his mage and giving a little bit of a cooldown. Which is the right call, I think, here, going against Druid.
Yeah, I think I may have discovered it, Dan, but I'll hold off until the Warrior deck, till Video Game Warrior makes an appearance once again. For now, though, Fr0zen is playing, like you said, the Malagos Druid. Pretty standard as far as lists go, except for one thing. There are no leg threshers. Very similar to what Saiyan brought his primary list specialist we got top 4 with. It's just 2 Teacher's Pet, 2 Twilight Runners as the beast for Guardian Animals, which means that it seems Fr0zen wasn't really expecting much aggro. That's the conclusion I draw from it. Because he has no Crystal Powers and no Leg Threshers. He's got the full Greed Malagos package with Geppetto and Alexstrasza. Holy!
Breath of Dreams right into the Overgrowth. I mean, he even has, like, the Overgrowth into, like, the Lightning Bloom Alexstrasza. That seems a little bit overkill since he would be overloaded for 2 crystals and then going into 8 mana have only 6 available, so he can't play Overflow. You can see how handsy Fr0zen is. He's just like, all right, let me play it. I'm going to play it. Let me play it. I want to play it. And I was like, entered. Immediately Overgrowth and passes back.
Empanizado thinking through the 100 possibilities that he can do this turn.
Yeah, one thing that I appreciate a lot about Empanizado as a player is that it does seem like he's very methodical, and kind of does like the mental reps to make sure that he's like very careful. If there's any criticism of Empanizado, it could be like you could point to his decks, you could point to like maybe his macro line of play and understanding. But it does feel like he at least is very deliberate and tries to take his time through the technicalities of his play, which I can appreciate. Because sometimes, it's fun to see people play really quick, but you also don't want to see them slip up and make mistakes for no reason. At least ones that are unforced, like that. That's not to say that Empanizado's played perfectly either, though, because I'm sure, as many people have pointed out, there's a lot of room to improve always in Hearthstone. Okay, so Sorcerer's Apprentice comes in the hand. We have Chinvala.
You can.
Is now the time. It's true. We don't have devolving missiles.
Yeah.
Online.
You go. Oh wait, does he have board space? Yeah, he has board space for Mirror Image. The Sorcerer's Apprentice, or Chinvala coin Sorcerer's Apprentice. Mirror Image Primordial Studies. Boom. Get a 5/5. That's full board. Get a spell damage minion.
Okay.
Could also just coin Raz.
Works against me.
I think I am. Oh. I don't know. I think this might be just a lab partner pass kind of dynamic here. Okay, goes for the Ras. It's just because anything you do, you're really accounting for guardian animals, and almost anything that you do to set up for it makes it feel like it's super vulnerable. And I like holding onto the coin because of the Sorcerer's Apprentice possibilities, right? Like you can Sorcerer's Apprentice, lab partner, Sorcerer's Apprentice, Chinvala, coin, lab partner, play a bunch of stuff. But I mean, now Fr0zen's just going for the all-out aggression plan. He's got Alexstrasza. He's gonna kill off this Ras. This is turn 5 for Mage. Staring at potential lethal next turn. Like, now's not the time to go with Sorcerer's Apprentice. I don't know when it is, TJ.
Yeah. It's just.
Yeah, I'm worried about time.
Well, I mean, honestly, there's not too many extra things that could happen this turn, right? I mean, maybe like like if you're devolving missiles. Oh, I was thinking Shinvala,
Yeah, I was
but
thinking
Empanizado's thinking something else. Okay, now there is time. Yeah, I was just thinking Shinvala, end the turn with Mirror Image, and call it a day.
Works against me.
Oh no!
Gyrocopter?
It's the same amount of power.
I have studied.
Okay, he's got a Fireball, Frostbolt, another Cram Session,
Pray for
Ice Barrier.
Solarian Prime?
All right,
Yeah.
another Primordial Studies. Oh my gosh.
Well, Devolving Missiles was just used, so maybe Twilight Runner feels better here. And now Fr0zen has two options to either play this Gidra and Germinate. I think he's going to go for that. He'll play the Twilight Runner. But he doesn't get both Gidras buffed immediately. That is kind of the dynamic with Spell Burst. It works in favor of Omu. It doesn't exactly work in the favor of Gidra.
And Germination Gone does limit the amount of raw power that Fr0zen can generate with like Force Warden Omu. So it could be flexible though.
Totally.
But Fr0zen really needs some
All
card draw at
in
this
due
point.
time.
His turn was about reacting. He wasn't able to develop the Twilight Runner. But Empanizado will be at 15 for the rest of the game, so he sticks any minion and has a little bit of burst behind it. He's good to go.
You fight me.
It's still one turn away from being able to play Solarian Prime, but Empanizado can pick apart some of this board state here with
Turn it.
the Ray of Frost combined with Firebrand. Yeah, just double trade. I think you keep the lab partner nice and healthy. And threat neutralized.
Nice. Yeah, looks pretty good. And now
I didn't even see
Twilight
that come to
Runner
the
comes
hand.
off. I mean,
He played it like from his deck. He like grabbed the card from his deck and put it onto the board.
yeah, and he found the Malygos as well. This is looking good for Fr0zen, as he does have anything stick. He will have Malygos. Here we go, Solarian Prime. Kind of needs something big, like a puzzle box as well. Flame Strike's a good start. Oh! That's not really what he wants. Okay. And that's it.
Oh,
Which is not enough. So if Fr0zen just goes for the Malygos, he's got lethal.
Yeah, the Seeker was a Netherwind portal.
Oh, wow. He picks up Nature Studies. So Fr0zen can test for the wide range of everything. Attack, sees that it's not vaporized, and Ice Barrier. Again, we know he has lethal, but it's all about whether or not he feels safe enough to go for it. And Nature Studies would test for Counterspell. And that's it. Malygos.
Yep.
Moonfire, Moonfire. Unless something that I'm not thinking about off
Nope.
Netherwind Portal would make it more expensive. That should do it. So Fr0zen, 2-0 lead. Druid is now through. Empanizado is struggling in this series to really get off on a good start here with any of his decks. It seems like he's kind of running into some complicated hand states where like he's not really able to dump cards, or if he is, they're not really like landing of a significant impact. That one turn he had where he dumped, it did look like he was getting something going, but it got immediately halted with momentum, and then he was not able to pick it up.
Yeah, but now Fr0zen's last deck is the Warrior, which I think that's what Empanizado is trying to counter. He does have double Ooze in his Demon Hunter deck, his Soul Demon Hunter. And the Warrior, maybe the Bloodsworn Mercenaries aren't for the Rattlegore or for the Bloodboil Brutes. Maybe they're specifically to have massive Armorsmith turns with Risky Skipper. And you just straight up armor out of range of bombs.
Okay. Maybe. I mean, that is one way, but I feel like it's not a reliable game plan.
No, it's not. Because he also has Mage in his lineup. Which, not the best Bomb Warrior counter. I mean, it can be good against Bomb Warrior. For the same reasons that it's good against Empanizado's Warrior, or so we've seen. Is that you can keep using removal, but the Mage is going to keep doing Mage things, and you really need to have a super aggressive start to be able to challenge them. Which isn't always the case. I don't know, Dan, but we'll see. A lot of players think this matchup is pretty close because Bomb Warrior isn't necessarily known for their having a lot of removal. Soul Demon, they both kind of have the same game plan where the deck is just removal plus face damage. They just do it in different forms. Warrior has armor gain. Soul Demon Hunter has Aldraki Warblades and the ability to heal. Thing is, Soul Demon Hunter is not reliant on their opponent drawing the bombs. They're just reliant on themselves drawing the damage. But with the double Ooze, with all the damage in the deck, I might give this one over to Empanizado because he can just offset so much of the damage that Fr0zen's going to be able to deal.
Oof. Well, nothing really developed here. And you might think that this Demon Hunter deck, because it plays a lot of high power, 5-cost cards or somewhere around that range, you might think that it's not super important for them to have the early game, but it actually kind of is. It sets the seed for a bunch of stuff. Oh my gosh. It's not video game Demon Hunter? This.
No.
There's no playables.
This is play outside Demon Hunter.
This is the innkeeper saying you've spent enough time social distancing. Oh gosh, it just feels so bad for Empanizado. Yeah. There's just nothing to do. It is some of the vulnerability of the deck, which is like you want to play reactive, but I mean, Fr0zen's in such a good spot here. Empanizado doesn't really have anything to do. Like, Fr0zen should be able to identify that Empanizado is waiting for him to play a card. So he's not extending significantly onto the board. Marrow Slicer, there we go. All of a sudden, all of his cards turn online. But no Soul Fragments shuffled in, so even the Lapidary is pretty lacking here.
So equip Marrow Slicer. Smack him.
Impatient.
He's going to smack you. Smack him back. You got to do something. You got to spend mana.
Yeah, but that would go against the game plan of not playing any cards this game, TJ.
Yes. Right.
Which Empanizado's Demon Hunter deck wants to do, apparently, despite Empanizado's wishes.
He can Hero Power, then Blade Dance, trade down the...
Okay. Marrow Slicer, after he attacks. This is interesting because it seems like Empanizado is saying, I foresee myself needing to hold on to this Marrow Slice charge to Blade Dance. And that makes sense because if he swings now, if he swung this turn on turn 5, and he plays like the Lapidary, then he's going to be in a situation where he can't play that Lapidary while holding on to Blade Dance, because then he's going to give up both weapon charges. So this is pretty smart from Empanizado, but at the same time, it's kind of what we're talking about. He's not really progressing his game plan very quickly.
Yeah.
It's very slow, which happens to play into the hands of the Warriors since they want a lot of time to shuffle as many bombs as possible into your deck.
Yeah. Which Fr0zen has shuffled none. And the biggest minion that Fr0zen could play outside of Blastmaster Boom and Deathwing, which Deathwing will come out for 3 turns. Blastmaster Boom's not usually coming out unless there's bomb shuffled in. Has 4 health. So I don't know. I kind of want to just get damage in and then, keep drawing weapons. But without a weapon in hand, there's no real reason to play it, I guess.
Right. And I do like this armor gain as well. So how does Empanizado counter this? Does he want to just Blade Dance this right here, right now? Because this is too much armor gain? He could consume magic as well.
I might want to consume magic and I-beam and single target these down.
Okay.
That one's tough because then you're not playing to your mana curve. But you are incentivized to play Soul Shear if you want to set up for Sociologist Militia because he only has the 2 soul fragments right now.
That sounds more reasonable. So I think I-beam, Soul Shear. I don't think you have to even consume magic at that point. You're just basically using consume magic to stop 2 armor, I think.
Time grows short.
Or 3 armor. But either way, Empanizado could... I feel like consume magic could be much better. So yeah, it looks like he agrees. He's gonna swing finally. Yeah, set it up so that way he can have Blade Dance. Plus, if he picks up another weapon, you want to be in a position where you can equip another weapon instead of overriding for another charge.
Someone's gotta lead the charge.
Not to mention, what if the Sky Raider gave Cobalt Sticky Finger?
Nope. Not today.
Nobody loots these ruins but me.
I mean, he's just getting him with an Anchor.
Right, he's just swinging 4 damage a turn, which just racks up over time. Finally, Empanizado draws his Acidic Swamp Ooze. I mean, that's kind of what he needed to do a while ago, but Fr0zen, I mean, that's why he was stacking his Anchor, right? Because he was anticipating some kind of weapon removal.
Yep.
So too late.
I grow impatient.
What if he's Sociologist here and just double trade or triple trade and hope that you get your Sociologist back from the Zapper?
That'd be sick if he's able to do that. If he was able to control the outcomes.
So there's 4 fragments. You'd be clearing off 2, so it'd be a 1 and 3. Not terrible.
Definitely not terrible. Definitely not that reliable, but pretty epic if you're able to pull it off.
Yeah. Blade Dance, Soul Shred. This is good because I think he just wants to get the skull.
Wait.
What?
Do you think it'd be better if he played the Lapidary and then Blade Dance so he can bounce back the Lapidary to his hand and get it again?
Oh.
I guess he wants to 5/5 on his board.
Yeah. I don't know. That might... You might be onto something here, Dan. It's a lot of lost tempo. And...
That's what the Sociologist is for, right? To win back the tempo immediately.
Secure the deck.
Oh, that's pretty fun with a deck that wants to attack a lot with the hero.
Yeah. No, that's just the best. That's burst damage. That's what you want.
Yeah, and you do attack a lot with your hero in this this deck, so looks pretty solid. I guess I was just thinking that the 5/5 never sticks.
Yeah, that's true. But it forces mana from your opponent. That's where the tempo comes in. Never sticks,
also
but your
true.
opponent has to has to answer it. Whereas if you just bounce it back, Fr0zen could just play whatever he wants. Now, granted, 7 mana worth of minions is not much different than 3 mana worth of minions. Yeah, just dump the Consume Magic. Good sequencing. He wants to dump the Consume Magic. Silence means nothing. He just wants Skull in outcast position on the far left there. So, smart stuff.
Right.
Still playing for tempo. Eldrazi Warblades is the pickup that Empanizado wants pretty soon here. 17 is not a comfortable life total. Though, Fr0zen has not shuffled bombs in yet, so maybe he feels a little bit more comfortable. But he's still got a long ways off from killing him, and once you get deeper into your deck, it means you're more likely to draw bombs once Fr0zen eventually starts shuffling them.
Yeah, overall, though, it still looks pretty straightforward from Fr0zen. Just keep pushing damage. Really nothing that the Demon Hunter has shown to be able to stop that, because the way the Demon Hunter handles this is through a Eldrazi Warblades that gives him lifesteal and big damage.
Okay, good draw here. Okay, now Skull's going to be even better.
That was huge.
That was huge.
Losing the discounts on the Skull.
One soul
really
fragment
hurts.
left?
Mage Hunter. Well, you missed it. Mage was last game, Empanizado. Actually, it was 2 games ago. Because Fr0zen was playing Druid.
So that's the kind of the criticism I have about Empanizado's deck is he doesn't have things to help him like find more damage. He has a very finite amount of damage. He has 1 Gladebound Adept. He's got the Mage Hunter tech. He's got 2 Spectral Sights. So and 2 Swamp Oozes. So he doesn't have like Pure Scoundrels to help him find more damage. He doesn't have the 2nd Gladebound Adept.
Okay.
But he does still have like Twin Slices left in his deck. He still has the Eldrazi Warblades left in his deck. He still has 1 more Mara Slicer, 1 more Soul Shard, 1 more and 1 Gladebound. He's got the damage left. It's about piecing that together in time, and
kind of intrigued by the sequencing here from Empanizado. Looks like he's going to go for the Chaos Strike. Kind of thinking about how he wants to sequence this in particular. Looks like he picked up Twin Slice, which now makes him unable to cast that Skull Gul'dan for the outcast value. If he wants to, he has to play Twin Slices now.
yeah, but I don't think he wants to. I think he wants to kill this Deathwing.
Right. Blade Dance. Blade Dance and chill. Yeah, it's gotta feel reassuring for Fr0zen, who's got Wrench Caliber off the top.
Finally.
Wow.
6 cards left in deck. Secure the deck. There it is.
And the claws. He's at full hand, right?
Yeah, he doesn't have a full hand. Oh.
Wow, it's so expensive. You can't play that in Skull now.
He can just play it in Ooze.
Sure.
And actually, I'm cashing in on Twin Slices here because I'm searching for lethal next turn with Skull.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess it could be argued that... Wait, is this... How much damage is this from Fr0zen's perspective? 5 much caliber. 3, 5, 7, 9.
I don't know.
10 through
one
the
bomb outer
doctor.
though. Yeah, he's got a 1 bomb outer, 2 bombs in the deck. Wow, this ramped up quickly.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of have the culmination of the entire game coming down to this. 2 bombs. out of 12, 1 and 6.
Ooh.
But now it's like Skull Gul'dan is even dicier these days.
Yeah, I mean he could Spirit Jailer first to give him a little buffer. Then he'd have 2 Soul Fragments and 2 bombs.
Maybe
but then also
Soulshear?
Soulshear as well, but he'd have to also play Spirit Jailer because he needs the Outcast for Skull.
Right.
So do you want to play Soulshear also to give yourself as much possible wiggle room as possible? The problem is, though, he also wants Eldrazi Warblades, which if he plays Soulshear, he can play Eldrazi Warblades, but then he can only get 1 Twin Slice off.
Poor warlock.
Finds the ooze.
Okay, there's a Soul Fragment.
Time grows
Bomb!
Get a bomb!
Alas, poor
Marl Slicer.
warlock.
Spirit Jailer. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Survived. Sort of.
Alright, so there's 1 bomb left in his deck.
Fr0zen just needs a little bit extra damage here.
Yeah.
I believe you can also just clear the board right now. Put yourself in a pretty good position for the Blastmaster Boom. Go for that brawl. Ooh. The acidic Swampu survives, and it looks like Fr0zen's just gonna keep it chill here for now. Empanizado still has a bomb in his deck. Finds Soul Fragment again.
Oh,
Chucky
there's the
Warblades.
Warblades.
Is that enough, though, right? It helps swing his life total. This is something that Empanizado has been waiting for a long time. Like, big picture. You know, how does Empanizado deal with like Blastmaster Boom?
Good question. I mean, it's just 2 boom bots. Let's see. Cards left in his deck. Empanizado has 1 bomb, a couple of Soul Fragments, another Shard Shatter Mystic, another Eldrazi Warblades, 2 Spectral Sights, another Twin Slice. Oh! Okay, there's last bomb. Glaive Bound. Okay.
Oh, no.
So you attack, Glaive Bound, then Shard Shatter? I don't know.
Okay. No, that is the line, I think.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that he only can gain 3 life here, but I think that's the only way he can stabilize.
Yeah. Actually, you may Shard Shatter first because you want to save the life on the Glaive Bound, and you're okay with taking damage to the face because there's no more direct damage from Fr0zen. He's used his Horde Pillager, all of his weapon charges, Blastmaster Boom. He can narrow it down. He's got the 3 minions that he has left in his hand. And then I don't even know the last 2 cards in his deck, but it's likely that they're just removal or like another Corsair Cache.
Time grows
Right, I
short.
think
So-
it is. One of them is Corsair Cache, I think.
Yeah, so you start Shatter Mystic first. You want to save the health because if you Glaive Bound out, the Glaive Bound out only has 1 health because you're damaging with Shard Shatter Mystic. Okay, yeah, that worked out fine.
I'm almost out of cards.
Yep, dead Corsair Cache. I think
Okay,
that
Fr0zen.
might have.
Wait, he's gonna Corsair Cache first?
I'm out of cards.
Oh,
Wait,
he has
he-
another weapon in the deck, TJ.
Oh, he does. Oh my gosh.
I'll show you who's boss.
Do try to keep yourselves alive.
Huh.
Well, there you go.
I thought he had. Hadn't he played 3 Range Calibers up until that point?
I don't think so. Oh wow, he draws Eldrazi Warblades. I was kind of trusting that you were keeping track of that, but he got the second one off of Horde Pillager, and I think he only shuffled 2 bombs,
yeah,
in, right?
Yeah, you're right. For some reason,
Or
I was
3
like, okay,
bombs.
he shuffled.
Grow
Yeah, no, you're
impatient.
right. Yeah. That's my bad. Huh. That's weird.
Well, either way, Fr0zen.
He just got so
knew
much
his-
damage with the Ankar earlier in the game. I had thought he used the second one, but you're right, because he played the first one, it got oozed. He played Horde Pillager, that got oozed. And yeah, the natural
Right.
one left in the deck, so he was guaranteed another Wrench Caliber at that point. So your assessment of, well, how does he win, even if he deals with Dr. Boom, ended up being true. Empanizado is just, he can survive one turn.
Throws short.
He can Aldraki Warblades, Hero Power, and go up to 7. But that is it. He has no additional card draw left. His out would be dodge the bombs, hit Spectral Sight into Twin Slice, or just draw Twin Slice.
Right. Here's the thing too. Empanizado, he had like turns to play a Marrow Slicer as well. Maybe those Soul Fragments shuffled in would have helped, but either way, comes down to it. Empanizado just Spectral Sight. That's not
He has
the
to.
card he wants.
So Fr0zen's effectively at 8. Is there lethal available in his deck? So he has 2 bombs. I lost track of Soul Fragments. He has 1 Shard Shatter Mystic, 1 Twin Slice.
Did he play his Kane?
He played his Kane.
He did.
Played both Soul Shard Lapidaries. Played Glade Bound. That second Marrow Slicer in hand. Played both Skulls. Played Sociologist. Played the Mage Hunter. Played the I-Beam. Both Eldrakis. He actually has
Chaos
1 more
Strike.
Spectral Sight in his deck too.
See.
I believe he's played both
Fragment.
Chaos Strikes also.
Shatter Mystic. The Mystic's no longer active, so the Soul Fragments got drawn.
Oh! So yeah, it's Twin
Bombs!
Slice and
Not many cards.
Spectral Sight.
Short.
his last card Twin Slice. Did he use 1 Twin Slice?
I think he used both of them. That's it. Fr0zen wins.
Oh man.
3-0.
Yeah, I thought he had.
Yeah.
Man, my tracking was off that game. But yeah, so last card was actually a bomb. So I don't know what Empanizado was expecting with that. He was just straight up out of damage. And yeah, so I guess the criticism maybe comes, maybe you go faster, because he died with 8 damage in hand effectively. It was 8 damage that needed 2 turns to activate. But that was what Fr0zen was at. He was at 8 health. He was taking 2 fatigue. He had 8+2 armor.
Right.
So could he have
And,
gone faster? Could he have gone a little faster? That's the question.
Yeah, he even had an opportunity to bounce that Lapidary, right? Like, to even add more damage. And so he instead prioritized playing a 5/5 onto the board and was trying to avoid the tempo loss. But, like, Warrior is going to be able to respond to that board, right? Fr0zen was holding, like, 8 or 9 cards at that time. And so he was very likely just to remove that 5/5, which I think Empanizado was okay with on paper, but ended up costing him just development opportunity. And like you said, the clock wasn't fast enough, and the deck still looked like it could have gotten a win there at that point.
Yeah, definitely did. But that's kind of brutal that he specifically teched a lot of his decks to beat Warrior with Cobalt Sticky Finger, Double Acidic Swamp Ooze. And then, even despite both oozes hitting Wrench Calibers, still didn't have the damage, still couldn't get there, still died to bombs. So, Empanizado, I think he should be, pretty happy that he came out of this weekend with a win. Because both these series looked pretty rough, but one of them he won, one of them he lost. So that's a decent outcome for him. Fr0zen starts off with a 3-0 in Division B, which is good because he was on the cusp of Division A. He actually had decent performances. Basically came down to him or Killen, whoever won. If Killen won or lost that last semifinal in Week 3, but Killen managed to sneak in and knock Fr0zen out.
All right, so with that, the stage has been set for the rest of the matches that we have. We have Briarthorn versus Firebat coming up next here for Hearthstone Grandmasters. We're going to take a few minutes and get set, and when we come back, more action here on Sunday, the last day of the kickoff week here for Round Robin.